If you believe you are a spiritual person aligned with moral principles, be sure you will be constantly tested. Because spirituality is a serious matter. It is not choreography. It is tough stuff, connected with everyday life. Because if you are a spiritual person, spirituality is not just something you perform one day a week for 1 hour. Spirituality becomes the way you live your life, following certain principles, certain moral principles in which you believe, and that in your daily life you have to demonstrate that you really believe in what you believe, and consequently you live putting into action your principles, and your entire life becomes a demonstration of your moral principles put into action. There is a beautiful story in the Bible, the story of Jacob and his twin brother Esau. They were sons of Isaac and Rebekah. Esau was the firstborn, therefore he had the right of descent. He was a tough guy, and his father, Isaac, loved him the most. He was his favorite. Jacob was more a silent guy. He was more concerned with thoughts, feelings, and was his mother's favorite son. They were totally different, and they were in a strong rivalry. At some point, Esau, coming back from a hunt, exhausted and hungry, traded his birthright to Jacob for a bowl of stew. But now Jacob needed Isaac's blessing, and with the help of his mother Rebekah, they tricked his blind father, who gave him his blessing, thinking he was Esau. This, of course, infuriated Esau, who was a fiery person, who tried to kill him, and therefore Jacob had to flee. Many years later, far away from home, Jacob had prospered. It was time for a reconciliation. Jacob sends messages to Esau together with gifts to appease him. And now comes the part which has most intrigued me. On his journey to meet Esau, on a night spent near a riverside, there is a strange encounter with a man who wrestles with him. They wrestle the entire night. Jacob doesn't understand. Who is that guy? What does he want from him? They kept wrestling, and Jacob realized that he was powerless against him. Nevertheless, he continued. The man, at some point, struck his thigh and dislocated it, making him lame for life. And when dawn approached, the man told him, "Release me, for dawn is broken." But Jacob replied, "I won't release you except if you bless me." That is indeed an interesting answer. Jacob wanted to be recognized in his stubbornness, He didn't accept to be stopped from his intent. He was going to reconciliate with Esau. That was his intent. It was a right intent. Finally, peace between the two brothers. His heart was full of goodwill. He sent him so many gifts. So he didn't want to be stopped. That was his just intent. And Jacob proved that he was totally coherent with this just intent. He fought all night long. He accepted no opposition to his intention. The man, that meanwhile we understand that he is an angel sent from God, blesses him and gives him a new name. When you receive a name, you are recognized. And the new name was Israel, the one who wrestled with God. That means someone who accepted all the challenges sent by God, fighting to demonstrate his right and his goodwill. And through that, Jacob has been recognized and received a new name. I told you this story because I want to remind you that all the challenges in life that spiritual people have to cope with are not a sign that God is against you, but on the contrary, they are a sign that God is giving you the possibility to demonstrate your worth, your value, and earn the rich rewards God has prepared for those who prove to Him they deserve them. And if you are indeed a spiritual person, you will fight with honor every battle, because you want to demonstrate that you really believe in the law, in the moral principles that make you a spiritual person. Do not be discouraged in the face of adversity. They are the guardian angels of the threshold sent by God when you are ready to demonstrate your value.